Recently, I wanted to play some other classes. I am getting very bored of only playing Scout, Sniper and Soldier all the time while playing TF2. So today, I decided to force myself out of my comfort zone and play a class I've wanted to get good at for so long now, the Spy. I decided that I would spend 10 hours playing this class, and those 10 hours would be as focused on improving and getting better as possible. And I just want to see how much I can really learn about the class in that time. Oh, and by the way, these videos take me quite a long time to do, so if you could hit the sub button if you're not already subscribed, it would mean a lot. I'd really appreciate it. Here we go, hour 1, the first hour of me playing Spying. I don't even know how many years it has been. My initial goal was genuinely to do all 10 of these hours in one day, but that didn't end up happening. There wasn't a single day in the time I was trying to do this whole video that I actually had 10 hours to sit down and stream myself playing as the Spy. If I had the spare 10 hours, I would have done it, but apparently I'm a lot busier than I thought. Either way, for the first hour, I was sorting out what loadout I thought would be the best to learn with. To keep things simple, I went with pretty much default this entire time. Just learning the class with the items he starts with sounds pretty good to me, and I won't get confused with different weapon concepts that will disappear when I change weapons. And I had some basic understanding of the Spy already because I used to play him a little bit, but I was never amazing at him, and I never really tried to get good at him. I used to actually use the cloak and dagger all the time, and I realized that didn't actually help me learn how to move around as a spy properly, because as soon as I was in trouble, I could just stand still and stay invisible forever. And then I wouldn't have to learn really how to manage my cloak properly either, which is something I did need to get better at. During the first hour, my chat actually told me not to disguise until I was halfway back to the enemy lines, which is something I didn't really know about. This makes sense though, because when an enemy spawns, they have those outlines around their teammates for a little while. And if there's a random outline a million miles away from where most of their team is bunched up, it's going to be pretty obvious. And if they're looking close enough, they'll see what class you disguise as well. So that's what I was trying to force myself to do, not disguise straight out of spawn, and instead just disguise when I was halfway back to the front line. I also tried to force myself to swap disguises almost every single time somebody clocked the one I was using. That way they didn't just know every single class I was disguised as because I was using the same disguise over and over again, which made me a little bit harder to track down, and it made it so I can get a few more stabs. Sometimes that worked great, and sometimes it didn't. Hour 2 started pretty well. I was practicing in slightly smaller maps like Harvest, and then I ended up playing in a payload game against a team that was super switched on to spies, and I just really struggled to find my way around that game and get anything really productive done. So that's something I definitely need to work on, like how do I play spy well in a game where everybody is so conscious of spies even being there. But then I discovered the power of the Revolver Spy. I completely dominated a game using just the Revolver. Now I know this isn't me learning how to play Spy properly, that hasn't helped me really at all, but I was just having a lot of fun, I was really enjoying it, and I know that there are certain games where the gun just works way better than the knife. Hour 3 was kind of divided up into a bunch of different sections, like I didn't play one solid hour for hour 3. I kept getting put into weird games where for like 2 seconds they wouldn't care about the spy, and then all of a sudden I get one stab and then I couldn't do anything for the rest of the game. This hour was awful. I really didn't feel like I learned anything about the spy this whole time, since everything I tried just didn't work and I died pretty much as soon as I respawned every single time. You can imagine that gets a little bit frustrating after a whole hour of it. So hour 4 was the hour I decided to try out the worst loadout that Mr. Paladin gave me to use for Spy. Initially I thought this wasn't actually going to be a good thing for me to do because I am trying to learn how to play the class properly, but using that bad loadout actually taught me a lot more about good weapon combinations and weapon synergies while playing the Spy and why they are so important. Using 3 weapons that just don't work together at all and just really counteract each other doesn't help at all. So I learned that certain weapons should not be used together and certain weapons work really well together. I feel like I played great during this. I really thought I chained stabs together well. My movement was pretty good actually. It was good to practice without constantly being able to be disguised as well. So I was happy with how that whole hour went. Hour 5, I was still getting the basics down and practicing what I had learned already. I got a good couple of stabs going, and then later in the hour, I started messing around with which weapons I was using as spy, since I'd been using the default for quite a while now. And it went horribly. There's something I don't understand with certain maps or certain games. I just don't know how to get around it when the whole enemy team is looking for me. So me experimenting with these different weapons was ruined because everybody was looking for a spy anyway. Hour 6 and 7, I decided to watch a bunch of YouTube videos about playing Spy. Some basic tutorials, some old school Muselk videos where he was playing Spy. I'm not sure how helpful they were, but I really enjoyed those ones. And of course, the Spy man himself, Mr. Paladin. I was basically just trying to see if there was anything really obvious to those guys that they were doing that I was missing in some of my own gameplay. And if there was any like simple tips I could pick up and put into my own gameplay to hopefully get more stabs more consistently. I feel like I'm at the point now where I'm not a bad spy, but I don't think I'm a good spy all of the time. And that is the bit I want to try and change. I want to be a better spy for more of the time and be way more consistent with everything I'm doing. So basically that's my goal for the next 3 hours. Hour 8, I spent mostly in TR Walkway practicing the stair stab I'd just been watching YouTube videos about. I managed to get fairly consistent with it. I was landing a good amount of them at one point, and I literally wasn't missing any for a couple of minutes. And that felt ridiculously satisfying. Then I decided to try and learn how to do them, but going the other way. So mirroring what I was just doing and trying to see if that was working as well. And honestly, mirroring what I was just doing was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Now, don't get me wrong, the whole thing felt weird. Nothing felt natural about doing a stair stab the other way around. But I did it, I got fairly consistent with it, and I felt good about my skill level with that stab in that map in those circumstances. Now, I mirrored it mostly because a lot of the time you won't get the perfect setup for a stair stab while you're actually playing TF2. So you might be really good at landing a stair stab going one way, but you might be on the wrong side of the staircase, or your enemy might be on the wrong side of the staircase, or you just have to jump at the time you need to, and then you're on the complete wrong side and you don't know what you're doing. So I was just trying to learn a couple of different ways to do a stair stab, so if I did get into a game and I was caught out on the wrong side, I still had an answer for that. I still need to practice the running away from an enemy and jumping over them, but I think that's another issue for another day, and practicing that on TL Walkway is quite different from doing that in an actual game. Like I've been saying, I just wanted to get the basics down for these 10 hours, which I think I did a good job of. I also then spent some more time on my revolver aim, because if you've noticed in any of the clips that I've used, that's normally what lets me down a little bit. Hour 9 started absolutely terribly. It was going so badly, I couldn't do anything whatsoever. Every single server had a bunch of pyros in it, a bunch of scouts in it, all looking for me, which was really, really annoying. I even got kicked because I tried to kick a cheater and he had a bunch of friends in the server as well, so that was fun. Thanks, lads. After that, I managed to pull it back, had a good couple of stabs, a good couple of games, and basically, I learned that if you're in a game when nothing is going right for you, just leave at this point. I don't know what else to do. It has to be something to do with my movement. It absolutely has to be. I should be doing something that I'm not, and I don't really exactly know what it is right now. Because I watched a sniper go from not caring about me at all to seeing me and instantly shooting me. So I know I'm doing something wrong. And then hour 10 was absolutely incredible. I was getting a ridiculous amount of stabs that realistically should not have been backstabs whatsoever. But if it happens consistently, does that make it lucky, or does that then make it a skill? Because this happened more than one time across more than one game. So maybe I'm just that good. But honestly, it was a much better end to the 10 hours than I thought I was going to get based on what hour 9 kind of felt like, because it just didn't start very well for that stream. So there we have it. I have played Spy for 10 hours, and honestly, I feel like I play him a lot better now. I understand the class a lot better. I understand how to actually line up a bunch of stabs a lot better, how to do certain things that I didn't really realize before, and hopefully I can do this again with another class and really get a much better understanding of this game that I've spent so much time playing. It's hard to go over all of the things that I learned in this video because some of them were so little, like just the way I'm looking while going towards somebody trying to stab them. Once I've changed that, nobody really suspected I was about to backstab that person, which was really cool. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I never thought playing Spy for 10 hours was going to be the thing that I really wanted to do, but once I started, I had a lot of fun. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you leave this video a like and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. There is also a Discord link in the description down below, a Patreon link if you wanted to support me there, and also a merch link if you wanted to buy yourself anything that I've designed, I guess. You obviously don't have to, but the options are there if you want. But yeah, thank you all so much again for all of the support recently. It's been amazing to see, and it's made me really want to keep making videos for you guys. So I'm really happy with my recent content, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.